Hello and welcome to another edition of the Spike Ridgley Show. I'm your host, Jeff Higgins. Joining me is the manager of the Massillon Tiger baseball team, Spike Ridgley. We want to thank our season-long sponsors, Ryan Prosser and D-Health Realtors. Coach, welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me.
Yep. As we get into the final week of the regular season, the Tigers are currently 11-11 after going 2-2 last week. Thursday, your Tigers won a home game over Barberton 4-1. Tell us a bit about that game.
Yeah, that was a good game for us. We threw Zach Seifert that night. He's quickly become our number one this year. And when he pitches, we always have a chance to win. He pounded the strike zone, kept us in the game. They threw a pretty good left-hander towards us that day. If I remember correctly, we hit the ball pretty well that day. It was a good game all around, and we were able to finish it off to get the win.
On Friday night, the Tigers fell to Lake 10-3. What do you remember about that game?
I remember their pitcher was pretty good that night. I thought he kept us off balance with his curveball. He threw pretty hard. He was probably mid-80s. And then you mix in a curveball with that, it can be pretty difficult. And then on top of all that, he was pounding the strike zone all night long. We never were able to get anything going. We had a few opportunities, but we made some mistakes on the base pass that night that hurt us a little bit. And then ultimately, at the end of the day, they really started to string some hits together later that put it away.
Then last Saturday, the Tigers split a home doubleheader with Cuyahoga Falls, winning the first game 7-1 and losing the nightcap 4-0. Tell us more about those two games.
Well, honestly, that day is kind of a microcosm of our season. If you really have been following us close, because in the first game we played really well. We hit the ball really well. We pitched well all day long, but the first game we just took care of our opportunities and chances that came along the way, and we were able to play well start to finish. But then the second game, we were a little bit inconsistent one inning, and it really hurt us. Played pretty well outside of the one inning where they got a couple runs. We got another nice pitching performance from Shane Rue in the second game. But we weren't able to get things going offensively, but made some mistakes that prevented us from being able to do that. So for us, as I said, I think 3 or 4 shows ago, we are still searching for that consistency. It's something that we talk an awful lot about, and I keep saying it, when there's still outs left in games to be played, there's still an opportunity for us to put it all together, and that's our main goal. But Saturday was really our season in one day.
Despite the 50% win record, do you feel your team is continuing to improve?
Yeah, I do. Again, we're still searching for that complete effort. I don't know that we've had it yet. And we talked with the guys last night some about it. We've been really close several times to that real quality win, but we have not been able to do that. And I know the guys are working really hard trying to make those corrections. And the one thing I'll say, to anybody that'll listen, with this group of guys, it has never been an effort problem at any point. These guys are giving their all at all times. We're trying to kind of polish and perfect the technical side of things, and being able to hold that in the moment focus throughout an entire 7-inning game.
Are there any specific players that you've seen step up recently?
Yeah, overall, I talk about Zach Seifert a lot. He's been very consistent, but he's been getting a chance to swing the bat too, and he's hitting very well. So he's been kind of a staple in the lineup the last 2-3 weeks, and he will continue to be there. Another guy that's starting to really come on at the plate is Amar. Amar was on the show a few weeks back. But, and with some of these younger guys right now, it's just, what is your approach at the plate? And so for him personally, and really most guys, when we hit off the machine inside, that machine is pretty consistently in the strike zone, and we hit it very well if you come in and watch during practice or pregame. But what's happening sometimes when we get into the game, and guys are starting to learn from this, we're taking ourselves out of our at-bats by swinging at balls that are out of the zone. So one thing Amar has done in the last week or two, and I've been telling the team about it too, we've all been trying to learn from it, is he's staying within the strike zone where he can be successful. He's not getting himself out per se.
We'll talk more with Coach, and we'll visit with the Tiger player in a moment. But first, this word from Ryan Prosser and D-Health Realtors.
Hi, I'm Ryan Prosser with D-Health Realtors, specializing in lifestyles, not just homes. Finding a realtor who understands the ins and outs of a home while also taking the time to listen to your wants and needs is important. With over 20 years experience in home remodeling, I have the knowledge to help you buy or sell a home with confidence.
Choose my daddy to be your realtor.
Thanks to Ryan Prosser and D-Health Realtors. Welcome back to the Spike Ridgley Show. Joining us this week, the Tiger player is Robbie Page. Robbie, welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me.
Robbie, how old were you when you started playing, and who introduced the game to you?
I was about five or six, and my friend Davon Woods was on a Mets team. And I wasn't planning on playing baseball, and he decided to bring me on the team.
What do you feel like your role is on this year's team?
I believe I'm the leader of the infield, leader of this team, the whole team, and bring a spark to the team.
What skills do you possess that make you a quality shortstop?
I believe I have a lot of range, good arm strength, can move pretty good, so yeah.
Once the season is over, what will you focus on in the off-season to improve your game?
I'm going to focus on my hitting mostly. Got to get that consistent for every single game. And I'm going to work on my infield skills, in and outfield skills.
If you had a chance to speak with some senior players, what would you say to them as they prepare to move on?
I would tell them to stay themselves, keep doing what they're doing because they're a great role model for the team, and that can translate for their job.
All right, Robbie, thanks for coming on, and best of luck for the rest of the season.
Thank you.
Coach, tell us more about Robbie and his role in this year's team.
Yeah, Robbie's a guy that had a little bit of an experience last year. He was up with us quite a few times last year, so he kind of saw what it was about and saw what it takes to just day in and day out what we expect. So he was able to translate that pretty good this year. Been really proud of him too, the way he's really turned on the focus and turned on just his daily work ethic. And guys learn that as they get their first opportunity in a more higher pressure, I guess, situation. And he's really starting to find his routine, and he's really doing things. The thing I'm most proud about with him is he's really doing things the way that we're asking the guys to do it. So I would have to piggyback on the fact that I think that he is a guy that no doubt can be a leadership voice for us in the locker room.
There are just 2 games left in the regular season. Your schedule this week features a pair of home games on May 8th and 10th. On Wednesday, the Tigers are home to face Kirtland. What can you tell us about the Hornets? Kirtland
was in a D3 regional championship game last year. So they contacted us, they like to see the field before they're hoping to get back to that same point, and we want to play a quality opponent. So we had an opening, so the two things match pretty good for us. So we're playing a team that's having a pretty successful year. They're going to come in and be fundamentally sound, and playing a team like that is only going to help us as we get ready to go into the tournament next week.
Then on Friday, the Tigers host Northwest. Tell us what you know about the Indians.
Yeah, Northwest, we've played each year since I've been here, and it's always been a tight game, and I would expect that again. Dave's doing a good job over there, and their guys are fundamentally sound. They're going to hit the ball, and they're having some success this year as you follow and look in the paper each day from the previous night's score. So we're looking to have another battle then, and you guys didn't have this one on her yet, but we picked up Glen Oak on the road at 11 a.m. on Saturday too, for those that like to follow.
The Division I sectional district tournament drawings took place over the weekend. Jackson was named the top seed. Give us your thought on the top 4 seeds and who your Tigers are facing in the opening game. Yeah, the top 4 seeds each year in this district are going to be extremely well coached, very good teams. There's no exception this year. You go from our district. Our district is the entire Federal League, mixed with a couple of really quality schools from Youngstown, and then us from it being an independent being thrown in there too. I think you'd be hard pressed to find a district that is more difficult to get out of than the one here in our backyard. And the team that gets out of this district has a realistic chance at winning the entire thing. Can you give us a scouting report on your first round opponent? As far as
Boardman is concerned, again, played those guys a few times. They always hit the ball. They're very, for some reason, anytime we ever play them, they're a team that's 8 to 10 hits in the game. So you're going to have to score. You're going to have to get a very good pitching performance, or you're going to have to score some runs that day. They'll be fundamentally sound on defense. For whatever reason, it seems like when we play those guys, it's always a group of big kids, big guys. So we're going to need to be able to play defense behind our pitcher, and we're going to have to be able to bunt and move runners and score when we get opportunities, because in a tournament game atmosphere, you don't, with two number ones going at each other, you don't know how many times you're going to get scoring opportunities. So when it presents itself, we got to make sure we take advantage of it and have sound base running on the bases while those opportunities are occurring.
Is there a big difference in your approach as you prepare teams for tournament play versus regular season play?
In my personal philosophy, no. I don't think there should be. For me personally, I try to prepare these guys with the same way each time. I think if you're changing a bunch of things for the tournament, then you got to ask yourself, why aren't I doing that earlier? Because each game, specifically being an independent, determines what your seed's going to be, and in baseball, the seed is the difference between playing 2 games to get in or playing 1 to get into the district. So no, for us, we're approaching our daily work like we normally would, but that's with high level intensity and a lot of focus either way.
Do you know who your starting pitcher will be in that first tournament game?
Yeah, I think I have a pretty good idea. I'm thinking it's going to probably be Zach Seifert. Again, things can change in a few days leading up to that, as we found out this year with just the day-to-day operation of who's available and who's not available. But at this point, if I had to write it right this second, it's probably going to be him.
Thanks, Coach. As we wrap up this edition of the Spike Ridgley Show, we want to thank Ryan Prosser and DeHoff Realtors for sponsoring our program. Thanks to Coach Ridgley and Junior Robbie Page for joining us in this week's show. I'm your host, Jeff Higgins. Thanks for watching, and as always, go Tigers.